Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now, as you can see here from the table, we are going to have a rehouse today, and I guess this one's giving it away. This is going to be an arboreal one. We do like our arboreal spiders, I must say. They to me are much more exciting than the terrestrial ones, although some of the terrestrial ones are really cool as well. I do like the arboreal stuff. And today we are going to do one of the genuses that I'm very fond of, and that is the Poecilotheria. So we are going to do the Poecilotheria, there she is, the Miranda. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, you would have remembered we put these guys in these cereal boxes when we were moving house. And some spiders done well in them, others not so well. But the pokies, they done really well. Now, the Poecilotheria miranda is often known as the Bengal ornamental, and it is probably one of the lesser seen spiders of this genus. We don't see a lot of them. We're lucky, we've got 3 adult females. We have bred them before as well, and we're hoping to breed them again this year. We want to try and pair some of these up again this year. So we're getting our stuff all moved over into our enclosure. So we are going to do this build now, a real simple build. Many of what we do with our rehouses can be so simple. There is no need to get massively over-engineered and bits and pieces like that. This is an old style exo. You notice this one's got the clips on it. I do actually prefer the circular ones. They're a better one. We have got some of them. Do we need to change? No, we'll stick with this one now we're here.
Not over-engineering it, are we?
We're not over-engineering it, no. we most definitely not. So this is just one of our enclosures. This on the side here, this is just a little bit of water damage. I've been a bit lazy with the cleaning on that one, really. But we can, it's perfectly fine. It's actually clean in terms of, it's clean, it's not got any bad stuff in it. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to fill that up with some compost that we've got here. This is a mix of cocoa and our normal compost. Doesn't matter what compost you use, it really doesn't.
When are we getting back to the beastie mix?
When we get back to the beastie mix, when we get a bit of time and we can actually get out and get collecting some. That is the only reason we haven't been using it. It's purely down to time. As you can imagine, dealing with all these spiders, the different projects, bits and pieces, and also the fact that, you know, we both work full-time as well. So it's not always easy for us to get out and about and do what we need to do. But that is the only reason we've not been using it, is purely because of that. Now, another thing, that's an interesting point, another thing that's come up as well, is why don't we use the clay balls in the bottom for our bioactive enclosures? Now, one of the reasons that we started using the clay balls really was to show you guys how effective they can be and what we use them for. And I've always thought that one of the most important things about having the clay balls was it gave new keepers an opportunity to have a greater leeway in their mistakes. So like for us here, you'll notice on all the recently ones that we've done, we've not been using the clay balls at all. And that is because I find I can actually water my plants and do my bits without it causing adverse effects to my spiders. Whereas a lot of new people, by having that clay ball in there, it allows any excess water that they've put in by mistake maybe to drain down and sit in the bottom, which allows our spider to sit in a different environment above. So yes, in a bioactive enclosure, they are very useful. I just find I don't personally need it because I have very good water management. So I know where my water's going, how much I need for particular things. But for beginners, it's absolutely ideal because it does give you that leeway. Once we get a bit more settled in, we will do a couple more with the clay balls, just showing that again. But yeah, I find for for the beginners out there, it's really, really important. It gives them that bit of leeway. Right then, another thing that we got picked up the other week on one of the videos was a few people were asking, what are these, he drops it, what are these little green balls?
They're peas.
Well, no, they're not peas. These little green balls. Now that is in fact fertilizer. Did we get that?
Just about.
Just about. Come on.
Don't want to make them feel sick.
Get with the plan. Now these are actually fertilizer balls, which are in the compost. Thank you, my love. They are in the compost. Now, any of the compost that you get, be it the cheap stuff, the dear stuff, whatever, will have these little tiny fertilizer balls in there. And the idea of these is they are slow releasing food for your plants, and they help your plants flourish. Now, we get a lot of, I mean, it's so funny actually. I read on Facebook, people throwing their arms up in the air about these balls. Oh my God, he's going to kill his spiders. Well, for one, our spiders don't find these very nutritious. They're not really interested in these, so they're not going to bother with them. Two, they're being released a nutrient into the floor for your plants, which isn't going to affect your spider either. They really are totally harmless for your spiders. Do not worry about them, but they are very good for your plants. So hopefully we've cleared that up. It's so interesting, these little tiny bits and pieces that get picked up as we go through our videos of what people think is dangerous and what people think isn't. And all I can say to you is anything that we use here, regardless of what it is, will not be dangerous to your spider. So if we are using it, you can feel rest assured that you'll be safe using it as well. We have used this stuff for years. Never causes us any problems. So just bear that in mind. Hopefully that will put your mind at rest. Now then, what we really want in here is a nice branch. We've got a few branches kicking around. I'll bring all my stuff in, so I've got loads of things to choose from. Now what we've got here, look at this. This is a lovely branch. And what we want to do is try and work out how will it look most effective. And I think it will look most effective there. So what we do, we put our soil in first, and then we can bury our branch down as best we want. Then we can get our level here. Remember guys, do you remember woodwork at school? Measure twice, cut once, all that business. Well, this is what we're going to do here. So we're going to put our bit of branch in here, work out where we want it and how it's going to be best. We've got a piece of cork here as well. So we want that to go in a corner, which will be nice in there. So that will work there. Then we're going to have our plants. So we are going to measure this off here. And we are going to cut that piece off there. So then we're going to take that out.
It's a very technical way of doing it.
It's a very, very technical way of measuring your bit of wood.
Keep your thumb.
It's called use your thumb.
Don't saw it.
Put that there. Don't saw your thumb off. No. So we're going to cut that there. Put that in there. Now remember, if you're on an uneven surface like I am now, just short little strokes. We like short little strokes. That'll just keep us going. And it means that the saw shouldn't slip. And if we go slowly, we won't cut through our bench. See, we can feel that now. There we go. No damage to the bench. Question is, after all that yabbering, did he cut it right? Alright, so we're going to put that back in there. Look at that. Isn't that lovely, see? Measure twice, cut once. Never forget that from school. About the only thing I did remember, to be fair. Right, so then we've got a nice piece of cork bark here. Now we're going to use the cork bark for a hide. So we're going to put that in that corner, and we're going to have this more in the corner rather than in the back. And that's because of the shape of the cork bark. It is in actual fact quite flat. So we can do that in there like that. Hopefully that will hold up there. That's looking good, looking good. A little posture in there. Look at that. Right then. So now we've got, this is an absolutely beautiful plant. Now we found these in our local garden centre, which comes to another thing. You know, people are often saying, what plants can you use? Where do you get your plants from? And I'll be totally honest with you. I just go for whatever I like the look of. And I like the look of that.
Do you know the Latin name of that?
I knew you were going to ask me that. You're so horrid to me at times.
Just saying.
Poecilotheria.
Don't repeat that.
Poecilotheria. That is what it's called. There you go. That's all the information they give us. Poecilotheria. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure exactly what that is. But I do like the look of it. And we can see from this that this has literally just been a twig that's been cut off of something, and then they've rejuvenated this. So it looks like it's possibly a tree of some description, but I think it looks absolutely awesome. So we are going to look at putting that in somewhere around there, I reckon. That'll look cool. So we're going to literally just put that about so there. Right, so dig our little hole, moisten up this a little bit, this root mass.
Moisten it or loosen it?
Loosen it. Come on now. We're going to fill that in. I just like these taller plants. I'm definitely going to go back and see if we can get a few more of these, because they just give such an amazing thing. Right, we're going to have that in there. Then we've got this one here. This is a Philoscandens pictus. Now, I think many of you have always seen these, and we've used these in a couple of our other enclosures as well. And they do really well under our lights, and they grow well, and they'll climb as well. So we are going to put this one over here, and hopefully we can encourage it to grow up our, just loosen that root ball again. Hopefully we can get that to grow up that piece of cork bark. Push that in there like that. There we go. God, it's looking nice. It's looking nice. What do you think? That's looking quite smart, isn't it?
Step away. You've got your lovely t-shirt in the background.
There you go. Right, so we've got a little bit of a sort of a foresty look going on. We now want a bit of moss. So we've got our bag of moss. We've got some lovely moss in here, actually. Oh, sorry. Right then, so we've got this lovely piece of moss here. We can use this. We can get that in there. We're going to take the end off. And then what we're going to do, we can see that we've got our bit of tree there. So we're going to tear that in the middle like so. So all we've done is we've kept that straight edge and we've just torn it to the side. That will give us the ability to wrap around that tree that we planted. I'm going to get rid of the little bits and pieces that we don't want. Now this was all collected, we've not done anything with it, it's not been cleaned or anything like that, you don't need to worry about all that. Here in the UK, we're lucky, we're fortunate, we don't have things that will be detrimental to our spiders in that respect. Alright. So there we go, got that in there, put that in there, I'm going to just chop that off. And you can see really how simple this is. We don't have to get that excited about it. And we are done. Look at that. Lovely. Alright, so let's get our hot glue gun on the go, so we can get our water bowl. Now you'll see on the side here, if I turn this around, we can see by tearing the moss, you see how we've managed to go around that, and we can just fit it in. We used the square edge of the moss across there, and that all fits in lovely. And it really is that simple. It's nothing too difficult about it at all. So what we're going to do now is we are going to water our plants in, give them a really, really good watering. Now another thing with the moss, we hear a lot of people saying about the moss, you know, giving us more in the way of humidity. What the moss actually does do is it locks in the humidity underneath. It locks in the moisture underneath the plant, underneath the moss, which means that our soil underneath doesn't dry out quite so quickly. And that is what it's actually doing. The moss itself still needs watering, still needs a reasonable amount of light as well. Now, we have found that some mosses do really, really well, and other mosses that have been collected in the same place, put in similar enclosures, have not done well at all. So it's a little bit hit and miss, and you need to just play around and find out what your system works best for you. And that is the best way to do it. Now, another thing that's worth mentioning here is when we talk about humidity. Now, the Poecilotheria miranda comes from India, which is a very, very hot country, as you know, and it's also can be very, very humid, especially in their rainy seasons. It's unbearably humid. Now, that being said, when we look at allowing humidity for our spiders, we are talking of a captive situation where we want to gain some of that humidity, but in the wild they get free-flowing air, which means that it isn't stagnant. So although it's a very high humidity in the wild state, it's got air movement, which is something that we really struggle with in captivity. So what we can do is we can bring our humidity levels down a little bit by allowing good ventilation, which is what these exoterras do. They do allow good ventilation. You'll notice with all of mine, I keep the mesh tops. I don't worry about the mesh tops. I hear a lot of people creating merry hell about them. I've never had any issues with the mesh tops. They've always been fine. My spiders have all been fine. I've never lost a spider to a mesh top. So
I've never crashed a car in heels.
Well, no, you'd be rather silly to wear heels in a car, wouldn't you?
No, because I do, and I ain't crashed once.
Well, you're Wonder Woman. So, anyway, how do we go from humidity to heels? Unbelievable. It's all relevant, yeah. I'm sure it is in your world. Oh my God, Betty. You've lost me now, look. She is terrible at the moment, guys. I'm putting it down at age. Right, so while I was driving in my car in my heels, I was, tearing around. Okay, right. So, with the humidity, we can come down a little bit with our humidity in our enclosures. We can give them heat easy enough, but we must give them ventilation. And this is one of the big problems that people suffer with in regards to humidity, is the fact that they do not allow enough in the way of ventilation.
And you don't mean cross ventilation in that?
Well, you can use cross ventilation. Cross ventilation is a different thing again. Right, let me just put this on, because the last time I'd done this, I managed to glue myself to it, and it really, really hurt. You'll also notice, some of you sharp-eyed ones will notice I've actually found a black glue for my glue gun, and I really do like it.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, well,
no, not your gun.
Black one.
The one you just
You see, it's on there, look, it's on that water bowl, and it does a whole much better. I actually really like the black. I think it looks cool.
Can't hardly see it.
No, that's the whole point. It's almost invisible.
Sorry.
So, right, So with the humidity, we're looking at getting it where we really do. I can't stress this enough. You need good ventilation. We are going to do a video on ventilation and enclosures because I think it's an important one, because I don't think people give enough thought as to their enclosure in terms of how they keep their spider. So I think we're going to do a video on that. I think that'd be quite interesting. Right then, let's have a look at this Miranda, because I know you're all dying to get in and have a look at this Miranda. These really are a super attractive spider, and if we can get her to get on that bit of log so that we can pull her out, that would be really, oh yeah, there you go, my girl. Now then, now bear in mind, these are a pokey. They do have significantly strong venom. This is a very small piece of bark. So what we're going to do, we are going to try and manipulate this girl. Let me just do one thing first, and that's turn my glue gun off, because that's going to end up cooking. Right, here we go. So now I'm going to get back into my favourite hand. Okay, so what we're going to do, these guys are a little bit on the shy side. Very gently. Now you see there, she has got the comfort of this piece of wood, and this is what's keeping her calm at the moment. Now I love these autumnal colours, all these browns, and look at that beautiful colouring now. I don't know what you call that, sort of like a beigey colour. Cream, isn't it? Yeah. Now you can see there, she's just having a little think. Now I don't know if the light's catching it, but here is purple. On the carapace, that goes purple as well. You can see the cream in the abdomen with them like tiger stripes. These are often called the tiger spider.
Keep still and get your paintbrush out the way for a bit because it shadows.
Many of these spiders have many different common names, and this is why it's really important that we use our Latin names. It's actually quite difficult holding this dead still.
Well, do your best.
We're getting a nice close up there.
Yeah, don't move.
So when the light catches them, they have a real purple sheen to them.
It's a shame. So
really pretty.
we'll see what comes
And
up on the screen, but we're not really.
That will show up under different lights. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to move her over a little bit.
Good.
Maybe get a real nice close up of her face. There we go. I'll use a zoom rather than a... As you can see, she's being really calm at the moment. And this is because we're managing to keep everything very subtle. Now underneath, many of the pokies have yellow stripes underneath their front legs. These guys have more of a creamy white colouring underneath, so they've not got that bright yellow as the others have, but they really are super cool. Right, I'm going to turn this around a little bit and we'll see what we can do with her. Now bearing in mind, when you start to move the log round, it changes her point of balance. So where we've got her now, she is perfectly flat balanced on the floor to her. If we were to carry on tilting it backwards, she would in fact feel like she was falling off, which would then in turn make her want to move. She is very beautiful. Now in terms of care, these guys, all of the pokies, are very easy to care for. They're not as terrible as you would first think. They tend to have a really bad reputation for being very flighty, very shy, Many people say they are super light sensitive. Most of our pokies are out and about in the daytime, and they'll actually move around in the day quite freely. We do get the occasional one that likes to hide away, but on the whole, most of them are very, very good. Now, in terms of defensiveness, I find with all of the pokies, they are more interested in running away than they are to stand and fight. They don't really want to end up having a fight with you. Now, much of that is because of the way we handle them. As you can see, we're very, very gentle with her. We don't want to upset her. And we can get to have a really, really nice look and see how good she is. Now, should this spider now decide to absolutely just teleport, which is what they're very commonly known for, they can move with the speed of lightning.
Can you move it so I get a side view so we can see that abdomen sort of hump?
Yeah. If I turn it around the other way, probably a bit better.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring it around.
Just show that abdomen shape.
Yeah, in terms of the abdomen there, as camera lady was saying, this is the perfect size for this spider. She's coming into condition. She's recently molted out, so we're just getting a little bit of weight on her, and we will see her abdomen change. And as she starts coming into condition, she will start to produce eggs, and then we will be looking for a male. We don't have a male for this one at the moment, so we will be on the lookout. Hopefully, we've got a couple of shows coming up soon. There'll be a male available somewhere, and we can see what we can do. Now, in terms of food, these guys will happily mop up pretty much anything that you want to offer. We like to maintain these on dubia roaches and very large crickets. They'll also take locusts, hoppers, big Mario worms, anything really. They really do have a good appetite. But try not to overfeed. It's very, very easy to overfeed. Right, so we have got her there. We're now going to try and get her into this enclosure. She's been really, really well behaved. Now you can see there that many of the stories you hear about these guys is purely down to the fact the way they have been handled. You see that there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this so you all guys get a good view. Right. So now we're going to put our paintbrush at the bottom here. What we want it to go up and get onto that nice piece of new wood, just like that. There we go.
Try and get her to not go behind.
Try not to disappear behind.
Colours are really showing up beautifully now.
And as you can see, she is an absolutely wonderful looking spider. Quickly grab a thumbnail. You do have to be quick sometimes. Don't go under there. That's a girl. Now you can see there that we can manipulate her quite a bit without actually upsetting her. Now we did have on one of our videos, people were sort of like, oh, there's no need to do this and no need to do that. Providing our spider is not stressed out, we are not upsetting her in any way.
Considering what some people do to spiders.
Yeah.
We've seen it, haven't we?
So we're not upsetting her in any way. And that is the most important thing. As long as we can do things without stressing them out, you're perfectly fine. It's when you start to stress them out and then you persevere, that is when it's all going a little bit wrong. And that's when you need to stop. So then, we've looked at how we want to maintain this spider. We want to keep it in a well ventilated enclosure. Temperature wise, we want it in the high 70s to low 80s. these guys flourish. They really do well at them temperatures. We have found in the past that all of our pokies, given the option of higher temperatures, they will enjoy them. We find many of ours be on the front glass. If they can get heat from somewhere else, that's where they'll be. They're searching for that heat. They really do like it.
Can you turn her a little bit, see if I can get those legs that you were...
So
that's it.
So yeah, so we can, they really do enjoy the warmth. Now, we want that ventilation, then that way we can keep our humidity. Don't be chasing the numbers too much on the humidity. Anywhere from sort of 70% or so is more than adequate for these. Remember, they need somewhere dry in which to rest, so that area behind the cork bark is where she's going to settle down. That's where she's going to make her home. So we need to keep that area dry. We can keep the rest of the enclosure in a nice, generally moist, you know, just sort of damp. It don't need to be too terrible. We just need enough moisture in there to keep our plants thriving. And that is the way to often work out and gauge your humidity in your enclosures. Rather than chasing the numbers, look at your plants and water your plants accordingly to keep them happy. And if they're happy, you'll find that your humidity won't be far off. Use your plants as a gauge, much better than trying to chase a hydrometer, you know?
Unless you've got a cactus in there.
We're talking rainforest type things here. Why would we have a cactus? I tell you guys, she's in one of them moods today. Right, cactus, my God. Right, so that is the Poecilotheria miranda. Now hopefully we will pick up a male in a couple of weeks' time and we'll be ready to pair this one up and we'll give her a go. Be nice to breed these again. We have done them twice, I think. So yeah, it'd be nice to do them again. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. A little insight into the Poecilotheria miranda, and a couple of gems from Camera Lady there. Yeah, high heels and cactuses. I'm really not sure where on earth that all come from, but I can only apologise. And yeah, we'll gag her for the next one. Right then, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, hit the like button. Really does make a massive difference to the channel, and as you probably noticed, we are climbing again. The numbers are going up, so we really appreciate all of your support. We are so close to that 100,000. That's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something else, quite an achievement, and that's all down to you guys, not just us. You the supporters, you put us there. Right then, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.